Hello and welcome to our Learn Python series. Today we have what are Python loops? Why do we need Python loops? How do loops help in accessing items in a list? And then we're going to see loops in action where we're going to access student data one by one. Let's dive right into it. Up to this point, we have worked with our list as a whole. We have performed some data analysis, min, max, length, but we have always operated on the list as a whole. Let's say now that you have been asked to print name of each student one by one. So one way of doing it is that you will say print student names, okay, index 0. Let's see how, as we expected, Emma's name has been printed. If I want to print the second student, I will say print student names index 1 and Liam's name is printed. But if we have to print the names of 50 students in the class, you will end up with 50 lines of code. So that is not very convenient. So how does Python help us? In Python, there's a concept of loop, or you can say where you iterate or loop over the whole list, one element at a time. So how does the syntax look like? It says for name in student names, end it with a colon. What if you want to read it in English, it will say that for every element in student names, when you are looping through it, put that in the variable name. Now we will say print name. Let's see, how did that work? As we needed it. Now each of the name has been printed on separate line, and we did not have to write 5 lines of code printing each name individually. That is nice and handy. One thing that you will notice that we have indented print statement that is required, meaning what it says is that for each loop, here is the block of the code that will be executed as part of this step. But having just one line printing the name does not make it very clear. Let's add a second line where we are going to print dash lines. So now you can see that name and the dash lines have become one block of the code. So that is why Python requires indenting the code. Let's say that you want to do something after the for loop has finished. You again indent out of the block, and now you can see that the dash line has been printed at the bottom. There may be a case where you want to access these student names by index. So how Python is going to help us? In Python, you can use the same for loop, but in this case, we will use a function called range, and range expects and asks us how many times would you like me to run this loop. So for now we have put a hardwired number as 5, and let's see what this does first. We say print index. So you can see that it has printed from 0 to 4 because we asked it to print 5. In Python, the index starts from 0, so it printed from 0 to 4. How are we going to use that for our student names? In this example, I've hardwired 5, but the number of students in the list is not hardwired. It can be computed. If we go back to our previous lesson, we used the len statement where we computed how many students are there. Instead of hardwiring 5, we have replaced that with a length student names. And first, let's look at how many students we have. So again, we went from 0 to 4. Now we are going to extend this concept to print the name. We'll say index, close the parentheses, and say equal student names, and we will put the index here. Now you can see we have the range function to access each element by the index position of that element in the list. Is the for statement only work just for these simple lists? No, you can use this for statement for, now we're going to use this for list of our tuple. In this case, we're going to say for student in students. So what it's going to do is it's going to when it's going to looping through all this list of the tuples, it's going to put each individual student in the variable student, and we're going to do the same thing. You say print student. Now you can see that it has printed tuple. One thing you may have noticed, we accidentally left a third data point, the grade of Emma, in there, and it did print that. So this is how you use the for loops. There are more advanced concept of using the for loops, for example, only printing partial and everything. We're going to discuss this in our subsequent chapters. Thanks for learning with us. Do subscribe and like our channel. For more information, do visit our website. Till next lesson, take care. Goodbye.